a very warm welcome to the Forum. As always, we'll be previewing some of the key meetings across the weekend. Of course, domestically for the Gallops Code, we're looking towards Riccarton Park and also Rotorua, and then across the ditch, a massive weekend of racing with day 2 of the championships from Randwick. Let's find out what's on the agenda. We kick off the show by heading down south to catch up with Jacob Lowry. He reunites with Bro, a key ride on the card. Then we get to our form analyst Brendan Popplewell as he talks us through the Rotorua meeting and also an important trial at the start of the day. Naseem Delimi joins us, Godolphin's representative. They have Anamo in the Queen Elizabeth. Champion trainer Murray Baker is next. He has the chosen one who'll be racing in the Sydney Cup on Saturday for day 2 of the championships. And finally, we switch codes to the harness where Craig the Well Thompson gives us his best. Well, we head down south for our next interview on the Forum, and Jacob Lowry has very kindly joined us on the line. Jacob, great to be with you this morning. And what are the conditions like down south? What track conditions can we expect there on Saturday?
Morning, Emily. I'm actually in Christchurch and had quite a bit of rain overnight and a wee bit more this morning, but clear skies now anyway.
Let's go through your book of rides on Saturday because there's some nice ones in the mix there. Race number 1, we've got Archerfield. We were just talking prior to the interview starting that although you haven't ridden the horse before, you do know a little bit about it.
Yeah, that's right. He was reared and raised on White Robe Lodge, and he's gone on and he's won a few trials and done really well. Probably his only blemish is his first start, but he did have really hard run, but he's had a good spell, and that last trial was really nice going towards the next race.
Yeah, we're just looking at that last trial now, and as you said, looks like it's made good progression off that break, and the side winkers going on, that always helps, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and talking to Lance, he really likes the horse and has a bit of an opinion on him, so hopefully he can prove us all right.
Up next in race number 2 is Ombre, the 6-year-old gelding by Captain Rio. Last start maiden win, that was pretty tidy.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it did take him 31 starts to win a maiden, but in saying that, he was a professional place getter prior to that. I'm not really sure what to expect. I expect him to run a good race all the same, but, you know, stepping up in grade, it's more of a watch. But I kind of have a funny feeling he'll run a nice race.
And sometimes they do, don't they? Once they get that win under their belts, the confidence is sort of up. Is there any way that you need the race to shape to help you sort of get the job done? Does he have conditions that he likes?
Well, I've only had the one ride for the 1-1, but I wouldn't think so. You know, them races, he's running placings and whatnot. He did it from in front, he did it from in behind. You know, he looks pretty versatile. So as long as he gets a good, clean run at them, I'm sure he'll get his opportunity.
And then we get along to race number 5, and that is, of course, Jack Knows Best. 2 runs back from a spell. They've been good, and you jumped on board for that latest run.
Yeah, no, he's been a model of consistency, hasn't he? He's got a bit of a sticky gait, but I'm sure if he can overcome that, you know, he'll be riding the finish.
And obviously, as you said, with being so consistent, do you think he can put it together to get that well-deserved win third up?
I think so. You know, a bit of rain about 2 wouldn't hurt him. He's got a good record on the soft ground, but it was a really good run the other day. He just probably got too good of a run and was there a long way down that long Riccarton straight and just got pegged the last 75 metres. But it was a good, brave run, and I'm sure he would have took a wee bit of improvement out of it. And no, I'm looking forward to riding him.
One thing's for sure, the draw won't do you any favours, will it? It's not an ideal position to be in.
No, definitely not. You know, luckily Riccarton's a lovely big track, so you just got to have that wee bit of luck, and if you can get a bit of cover, you know, he'll be right.
And then we move along to race number 8, which is, of course, the listed Easter Cup, and you reunite with Bro, which is really exciting for you, no doubt. Has had a freshen up, and have you had the opportunity to see him or have a gallop on him since that run in the Group 1?
Yeah, I put my leg over him this morning, Emily, and, you know, he's looking well, and Andrew's got him looking really nice, and he felt really good in his action. He's happy with him. I'm happy with him. So that's all we can really do now.
It was a fantastic run in that Otaki Wait for Age, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. That's just him, eh? Like, he doesn't know how to go a bad race. He just tries so hard. You know, them top horses are probably just a fraction better than what he is, but he's a good, handy, honest horse, and he proved that in the Group 1.
And for punters who are maybe concerned about him with the 61 kilos, he's pretty used to carrying those big weights, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly is. To be fair, he probably has earned the weight, but it's never the idealist situation. But hey, he's there, he's fit, he's well, he's carried the weight before, and he'll give a really good account of himself.
I'm sure he will. Race number 9, Capo del Impero, is the last one that we touch on. What are you expecting from this horse?
He's a really nice horse, and his track work's been up to the mark. He's a real up and comer, and I'm excited to see him get over a bit of ground. 1800, I think a trip that will suit him really well. Just the way seen out the mile last time, and he really ran away on them last start, gives you a lot of confidence.
And with the way he won, you'd think the up to rating 74 wouldn't be any problem. Is that your thinking too?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's still a young horse, and he's on the way up, and he just sort of throughout the campaign just trying to get things right. But I think the penny's dropped now, and he's a real racehorse, and he's starting to put together a good record.
Jacob, we're just looking at your book of rides for Saturday at Riccarton. Who would you identify as your best?
Look, I'm really happy with all the rides I have on Saturday, to be honest with you. But I suppose Hesebo really picks himself, doesn't he? He's the model of consistency. Every time you ride him, he gives 110, and hopefully we can get a result on Saturday.
Yeah, and coming back from Group 1, Weight for Age Company is a pretty good form line as well. Jacob, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck on Saturday, and thanks for catching up with us.
No worries at all. Thank you.
Well, we look at our northern meeting now on the form, and that is, of course, Rotorua races. And we called in no other than Brendan Popplewell to talk us through what'll be a good day of racing out of Rotorua, Brendan. And looking forward to it. What track conditions can we expect there on Saturday?
Yeah, at the moment they're hovering around that the soft 5 region at present, and of course now that we're into our second month of 1 month behind us in autumn, it's those type of track conditions, and it's really that type of meeting too, where we're starting to see some of those horses that are looking to get into that bracket, and horses that also have their sights on maybe a few good goals coming up over the autumn racing. We've still got some good race meetings to look forward to. Of course, next weekend we do have the Group 1 Auckland Thoroughbred, the New Zealand Thoroughbred Breeders Stakes to look forward to, and then we roll into the Travis Stakes race meeting at Cambridge. So a number of good meetings to come, and also was Easter Handicap Day as well in there. So 3 good meetings upcoming, and this is a chance to maybe assess some runners that have got their sights on some bigger goals.
There's a couple of races that we're going to touch on, aren't there? Race 1 to kick off the day, a pretty nice 3-year-old race, Brendan.
Look, it is, and it's a race where La Bella Beals has been proven already this spring with what she's been able to do, and she's come back in really good fashion with how she's won first up. It is the same Quinella from the 1 and the 2 when they presented last time to the races in a small field of Tauranga, but they were 2 horses that really were good in what they did. La Bella Beals in front, out of trouble, won the race very easily by 3 lengths, and Ziegfeld was a horse who always looked like was going to get back from a barrier draw of 1, but always be looking to try and get into the race late, and that's exactly how it unfolded. Rekindled Express at $5 and Stars and Cream. They're the obvious dangers in the race. Stars and Cream is a runner that was defeated last time to the race, but got that very good win over Midnight Mass to start to go, who's then come out and franked that form. And Rekindled Express also a nice type, but overall, I keep coming back to the horse at the top of the book in this race, in La Bella Beals, Emily. She's got the barrier draw, and she does look the one to beat. And I thought she was the one for the meeting. She is short. She's $1.90, but maybe she's the best way to try and kick off your Saturday afternoon.
And then, of course, we want to touch on race number 6 as well, which is an open handicap, and again, some nice progressive horses. Look, there is, and Sheriff is a horse who I was quite impressed with last time too, the races, Emily, with how this horse was able to win. Yep, things panned out, and Sheriff was in the right spot. It was a race meeting on that Sunday back on the 20th of March where you needed to be close to the rail, and this horse did exactly that. But I just love the way that the horse was able to find under Andrew Calder at $3.50. You've got the other distinct danger in the race, and that is Osaka, who's fresh up, who comes in with a really nice trial and has been kept safe with bookmakers at $3
and 50 cents. Then you have to try and work out the rest. You sort of, your Red Hussars and even Thunder. Thunder won't mind if the track condition is rated where it is, and possibly even if it gets into that wet bracket too with some weight relief. But I keep coming back to Sheriff with just how he won last time to the races. It's good to see him back in that form. Look, his past form is terrific, and maybe if he's rediscovered that, he just might be a horse who could be on that right path once again. So I was happy to be with him coming up into our open handicap feature.
And Brendan, you spoke at the start of horses that are heading towards some of those key meetings in the next couple of weeks, and that's why there's a trial on before the first race of the day there at Rotorua. And geez, there's some pretty talented gallopers lined up to take their place in the trial. Just looking through Levante, you've got Mai Tai, Entrevier, and a couple of interesting ones coming back from overseas.
Yes, Helena Baby is in there, and also Let's Be Glam, who we haven't seen for a couple of seasons, a horse who went right up to the Blue Diamond. So this is an exceptional trial and a great chance to be able to look at some of those Group 1 performers. And Levante, King Kelso was spoken about just trying to find that right hit out for Levante before tackling the 1600 metres New Zealand Thoroughbred Breeders the following Saturday. And Entrevier is also in Coventina Bay. This is a trial that will, I'm sure, a number of people will be wanting to watch, but also just getting a bit of a guide on a couple of 3-year-olds that are also in this race. You've got Sword of State, who's also in this particular trial, so he might be looking towards that race, as we suggested at the end of April, the Cambridge Breeders, which is a 3-year-old 1200 metre event that they might have his eyes on with him. So intriguing trial, and I'm sure a trial we're going to take some notes on moving forward over the next few weeks.
Brendan, thank you so much for your time this morning. Looking forward to that meeting coming out of Rotorua, and as you said, the trial as well. Certainly something to sink your teeth into.
Certainly is. No worries, Emily.
Well, up next on The Form, we get across the Tasman and to the Godolphin representative in Naseem Delimi. Naseem, very warm welcome into The Form this morning. And by the look of your outfit, it's maybe not very favourable weather conditions in Australia at the moment.
No, unfortunately, very wet, but it's been like that for a few weeks now, and we kind of got used to it, but at the same time, it's a bit painful. So unfortunately, another wet condition for this weekend's racing.
You were mentioning to me before we started the interview that actually works quite well for a number of your runners. If we work through them, we can start in race number 2 with Zethus, hopefully saying that right, or Zethus. Started the prep in Victoria and then freshened. What's been the feedback from the trials?
So he's had 2 starts in Victoria after a lengthy spell. Both his runs were quite nice. Then we sent him back to New South Wales, and unfortunately at the moment he's only there'll be our only choice is to run on wet tracks. But he's from a pedigree who's enjoyed the wet weather. So he's had a nice trial the other day here at Wyke Farm, and hopefully he can stand up to the heavy conditions, and he'll be running a nice race.
Your other charge in the race is Villana, and also been very good at the trials, and then a nice fresh win. What's the progression been like second up?
Yeah, so obviously he's had a nice win here at Wyke Farm last start. He's stepping up to stakes level now. He's a very promising horse, and he seemed to release the condition on a Wyke Farm track last start quite easily. So we know that he'll be handling the heavy track at Randwick, and it's another horse that's obviously stepping up to a different grade now. But the guys at the stables have been really happy with him, and another one we're looking forward to send out.
And then if we get to race number 4, and that, of course, is the Percy Sykes Stakes for the 2-year-olds, and a couple of key contenders in this as well. Oh Hi, who ran really well in the Golden Slipper, that's horse number 4, and has been thereabouts prior to that too. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so she's a tricky one, because at the home she's very casual, only does what she has to do, but when it comes to race day, she tries very hard. So Obviously, like you mentioned, in a Golden Slipper, she ran a very good race, probably a little bit further back than we wanted, and Regan Bayliss managed to follow the eventual winner coming up the straight, and she hit the line very strongly. So we have no doubt that she'll be handling the condition well, and she'll be right up there near the finish.
The next horse we talk about, Magic Carpet, didn't go through the Golden Slipper. You elected to skip that and has been pretty good at the trials. Tell me a little bit about the background behind Magic Carpet.
So she's a nice old filly. We've been taking our time with her, and unfortunately, last start in a Magic Night, you don't see very many horses that drew barrier one and end up with no cover on the rail, and unfortunately for her it was the case, and she's beaten by She's Extreme, who has been running well, and she was very unlucky in a slipper and ran a super race in a size on Saturday. So another horse that will handle the condition with no problem and will be right up there too.
Yeah, lovely form line, isn't it? And then the third of your runners in that race is obviously Kin, and the most likely raced of the three of them, resuming. How did she do during the break?
Yeah, very good. Obviously, that'll be her first run in New South Wales. She's done most of her work in Melbourne. She's come back, had a very nice trial at White Farm the other day. Obviously, they were on a poly track, so they won't have to do too much. But she's another one that's James gave her a little bit of time. Didn't want to rush her as a 2-year-old, and she's coming up nicely now in a late 2-year-old season to hopefully pick up a nice black type win during the carnival.
And all three of them actually in that race, they've all got good draws, haven't they? So they'll get their best chance. Who would you single out as the best of the three?
I'd say the one that would probably handle the track the best would be Magic Carpet. And on her work here on Tuesday, we managed to get the course proper at White Farm, and she actually worked with Ojai, and both horses galloped really well. So I think Magic Carpet might be the best of the three on Saturday.
And then up next we get to race number 5, which is of course the Arrowfield 3-year-old sprint. And in this one, Palele is one of 2 charges that you've got in the event. I just love this colt. What do you make of his recent runs?
Massive. Obviously, a 3-year-old taking on the older horses, beaten by what are probably the 2 best sprinter in the world at the moment. So we were very happy with his run. He looked off the bit a long way from home, but he hit the line very strong. So the way he pulled up, James was very happy to back him up. And yeah, like you say, he's a very he's quite a standout colt, and it'll be hopefully he handled the backup really well and runs a nice race.
And then obviously the other horse you've got in the race is Bacchanalia, and a really nice run fresh in the Derby Munro. And I was just looking at some of the stats. Second up, obviously, you've got great stats in a second up state, and also, of course, wet track form. So a lot to like about Bacchanalia as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so obviously he's already a stakes winner, winning the Gosford Guineas. His run last start was huge. He was well beaten by Mazu, which is quite a promising horse, but he was also very unlucky. He ended up 4 wide, no cover most of the trip, and he still hit the line quite strongly. So on the type of track he's going to run on Saturday, very similar to what he raced again in a Derby Munro, is another one that's probably going to end up near the finish.
And then obviously in race number 6, which is of course the Australian Oaks, you've got Honey Creeper, who really announced herself as a key chance, because what a run in the Adrian Knox. She just absolutely blitzed them. Were you expecting that?
We expected an improvement. Obviously, we took her to Tasmania and things didn't go her way. She probably got a little bit too far back and the track was a little bit too firm for her. Jen selected to put the blinkers on last start. She was a long way back and coming to the half mile before we might be in trouble here. But when they came at the top of the straight, when we saw how much Huey had underneath him, we got very confident there. And yeah, she hit the line very strongly. We kind of knew that if she would run top three, she would be backing up. So we did tell Huey not to be too hard on her. And yeah, she really she was electric late, and she'd be very competitive on Saturday.
Yeah, and what you mentioned about the backup, is that, I guess, one of the main concerns about her heading towards the Oaks? By the look of her run, the distance shouldn't be any issue.
No, I don't think the distance will be a problem. She's by Teofilo, so she's bred to go the distance, and she's yeah, she relaxed beautifully last start. I think she'd be very hard to beat on Saturday.
And then we get along to the big one, which is, of course, the Longines Queen Elizabeth Stakes. And Animo is your charge in this one, and a key chance in the market as well, obviously. Tell me about how Animo's preparation has gone. It's been incredible what he's been able to do just a few months ago in a Cox Plate, and then proving his worth, obviously, coming back in the autumn as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like it obviously it's again the 3-year-old taking on the older horses. Cracking race. It's a full field of very talented horses, and it'll be. It did look very good in Rose Hill Guineas, but unfortunately on times it didn't look very good. And yeah, I don't think that'll be an issue for us. We knew that the Queen Elizabeth would be his grand final this prep, and it'll be very interesting to see how they go. The stats don't rate the 3-year-old to go very well in this race, but it's certainly one of the most exciting 3-year-old that's been around for a long time.
Absolutely, yes, most definitely is. And if you could compare his work, say, to prior to a Cox Plate or some of his other victories there in the spring, where do you feel he's at?
He's right up there. If anything, his work before the Cox Plate was, because he's quite a casual track work horse. So on Tuesday they made him lead the gallop, and he always wait for the other horse to join him before say, okay, now playtime's over. But his gallop on Tuesday was very good. His regular rider was very happy with him, and obviously it was well documented last week that he had an elevated temperature, but he's never missed a bit of track work, and we're really excited for him Saturday.
I know that you don't really want to talk about the negatives, but are there any things that are sort of on your mind, concerns when it comes to the race as a whole on Saturday?
Obviously, he's proven his way for age, but also it's not an easy thing to do, especially on a very heavy track. You don't want to gut the horse too much, and like I said, because so close to a race coming to. He had a little bit of a temperature and all that, but I don't think that'll be an issue for him. I'm very excited for the team to represent a horse in this type of race.
I bet, absolutely. And then race number 9, you've got Colette, which is obviously the queen of the turf. And I don't think there's another galloper that doesn't enjoy the wet tracks like she does. Seemed like you've got her in a really good spot, and obviously coming back to her own 6 off the back of a George Rider.
Yeah, cracking run in a George Rider, and obviously for her, the heavier the better, and it'll be interesting. She was quite unlucky in Chipping Norton, where she on the fence and probably the wrong part of the track on that day, but she was very strong last start in a George Rider. She raced super, and like you say, backing on 6 now, she'll be very competitive.
What about the draw, that barrier 9? What'll be the instructions to James McDonald?
She's pretty casual coming at the barriers, so I'd say we'll just leave it to James. But more than likely, she'll be riding quiet, and she'll be waving her way through late, and hopefully can pick up another big race.
And then finally, last race of the day is the Tab Sapphire Stakes over the 1,200 metres, and Emanate in this one, a last start winner. How's she come through that run?
Came through the run very well. 3 weeks between runs, so she's been freshened up really well for that race, and very very exciting mare. She was very strong last start, and at the top of the straight when Sammy Clipperton didn't didn't move, and once he peeled out, she was very electric. So another good mare that she's well bred too, so hopefully can pick up another stakes win.
And you talk about her being quite progressive and an exciting type. What would be the goals after this? Would you be looking to head up to Queensland?
Yeah, so she's lightly raced this prep. The team's taking it race by race with her, and yeah, she would be the type of filly that she could end up in Queensland if things go right, and hopefully can pick up more stakes race.
We've talked through what is some pretty exciting runners on a massive day, day 2 of the championships. Naseem, if you had to single one out as your best, who would it be?
With the condition we're having at the moment, will be you'll be looking at a wet track form. We've got a few short prices, but I do think Bacchanalia is a $16 chance with some of the bookmakers, and I think it should be a lot shorter than that. So our best chance on the day, I would think Colette, but I would have a little bet on Bacchanalia as well.
Well, I'm pretty sure our form punters will be pretty happy with the $16 chance as your tip. Naseem, thank you so much for your time and best of luck on Saturday.
Anytime. Thank you very much.
Well, it's a pretty big weekend for Cambridge-based trainer Murray Baker as he counts down to what could potentially be his final Group 1 contender in The Chosen One. We caught up with him to find out what the weekend's going to bring.
Since they've done the championships, it's just a real special month of racing. Plenty of hype, good horses, good jockeys. Can't beat the buzz of going on a Metropolitan Australian course. The championship had credibility right from the start. The very big prize money, good horses, very good programming. I think your horse can always run through to the race you're targeted. I've been very fortunate to have good horses and that could stay, and good jockeys that rode them. Queen Elizabeth when he beat Sacred Falls, and the previous year when he won the Derby. You look for those staying pedigrees, and the one thing about New Zealand trained horses, they probably get a little bit more time, and it helps them when they become autumn 3-year-olds. That's the way we try and think about it, try and get them to come to it in the autumn 3-year-old season. Key's having the horse, because no two trainers train the same. Some very good trainers don't do a lot with them, some do a lot with them. It's having the horse. Caressing you from Fort Worth to He's racing really well this campaign. We're hoping to run a good race. He ran second in that race 2 years ago, the Sydney Cup, so let's hope he can improve a bit. Quite sharp this time in, perfect preparation, no setbacks, no excuses. Thought his run the other day in the tank was very good, because he got crowded a bit at about the 300, and he hit the lines strongly. Always a tough field, the Sydney Cup, but I think he'll run well. You've got to throw your hat in the ring. I do think that more Kiwis should have a go, because we've got the horses here. Oh, he's very thorough, he's got a great knowledge of the game, and I'm certain he'll do well. Got a nice young team there to start the new season, and some of them are bound to come through.
And have you still got a few horses yourself that are in work that maybe you will have Andrew train and might be targeting those Australian carnivals?
Oh, I've got 1 or 2, yeah, but they've got to show a bit more ability. Texas sun. Texas sun. You say you like the wind blowing through your hair. Well, come on, roll with me till the sun goes down. Texas sun.
as the sun.
Well, our show wouldn't be complete without some harness action, and we caught up with Craig the Whale Thompson to find out what he likes as we build towards the weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. Really looking forward to Friday night. Gee, it's going to be a big night there at Addington Raceway. That trot field, race number 5, the Group 1 feature, that is an outstanding field. Now, there's 8 trotters going around, Emily. 7 of them Group 1 winners. The only one that hasn't won a Group 1, Mataderos, and of course he ran second in the Dominion Handicap behind Sunday Sun. So 15, I think 16 group wins between the 7 runners. Sunday Sun's got 8 of them. It is a hot lineup. In saying that, I think as a betting prospect, I don't mind Bolt for Brilliance. Now, he's 480. He's 210 top 2 market. He's got gate speed. We showed that on Whale Watch and how he got off the gate in the Lyell Creek and led. Barrier 2 here, he's got Sunday Suns with inside, no second row. If he can't cross him, he's still got the option to take a trail. So I don't mind him on an each-way play. Maybe the 210's better than the $1.75 around Sunday Sun. It's been a great contest. You chuck in Muscle Mountain. He won the race last year, and Oscar Bonavena was off the clock, running home for second last start. Great field, 7:08, trackside 1 Friday night, Emily. That is the place to be. That is our feature, the Fred Shaw Trotting Group 1. Now, race number 6 is for the Pacers. Gee, it's a hot lineup here. Ultra Wise guys in here along with the Northern Visitor Kango. But the horse we're all talking about at the moment is Cranbourne. Gee, he could be at Cambridge in 7 days' time. That's how good this horse was going. He was right on the cusp of getting that last slot. Now, he slides into a 2,600 metre race on Friday night from a similar barrier draw to what he had last time. And I think it'll be the same tactics. He'll go forward, he'll look to dominate, and he's a hell of a hard horse to get past. Gee, he's going good at the moment, Cranbourne. He's come up 250 with the bookmakers. I think that's a fair price. If he rolls to the front, he's going to be very hard to pull back. Main dangers, Pembroke Playboy obviously heads to the race next Thursday at Cambridge worth $900,000. Kango, the Northern Visitor. And a horse that's probably a little bit under the flying under the radar at the moment is AG's White Sox. I thought it was a much better run by him last week. He's at double figure odds for this race and probably the best value. Looking forward to Saturday. Don't forget trackside 2. Winton are going around there and they've got a great program. Headed up by the obviously race number 7, one of the feature, the Southern Belle Mares final. And it features Darling Me, who was brilliant running second last week at Addington Raceway. She clocked the last mile 1:55. She's got a wonderful record over a short distance. And more importantly, she's got a lovely draw at Barrier 3 over the short distance. She stands out for me as the best of the day. Race 7, number 3, Darling Me, taking on Better Tart and Life's a Beach. Don't forget, we're doing a special The Race preview show on Monday night, trackside 1, 9:30. Joined by obviously Matt Cross and Brittany Graham. 9:30, The Race preview. Make sure you catch it here on trackside 1.
Well, that's it from us here on The Form. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show, and a big thank you to all of our guests that took part in this morning's action. We look forward to a big weekend of racing that of course includes day 2 of the championships. Fantastic Group 1 racing, including the Queen Elizabeth. We'll be back with you next week as we preview another big weekend of racing, including the final Group 1 of the season here in New Zealand.